Okay, ready. Go ahead, Anne.
All right. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us this morning or afternoon, depending on where you are in the world. This is the Nature, Art, and Habitat Residency PechaKucha, or some people say PechaKucha, depending on how you pronounce it. Today, we're going to see some of the artists from this year's Nature, Art, and Habitat Residency from both Italy and California. And if you don't know about Nature, Art, and Habitat Residency, it is an opportunity for artists all around the globe to travel to either Santa Ynez, which is just north of Santa Barbara, or to Valtellegio, and in Italy, and spend from 2 weeks to longer, sometimes up to 4 weeks, really focusing and digging into the art, having time and space to think about nature, art, habitats. So this year's theme for Nature, Art, and Habitat Residency is air. So as we say, air is the commons, the chaotic fluid, and the inspiration. And as I mentioned, you know, it's this multidisciplinary research methods, right? And so, for instance, when I went on my fellowship last year, I really just looked into whatever, it was very self-guided. So I dug into whatever sounded interesting and sort of followed the lead, which is really a great opportunity for these artists to have, to be able to do that. As I mentioned, it is globally focused, so anyone, anywhere can participate. And that is really what this program is about, is participation. Yes, participation, there we go. As I said, we're a global organization run by volunteers. We have people all over the world. Here's a few of the beautiful people of the organization. And here's some of our institutional partners and sponsors. We really appreciate all of the time, funding, support, everything that we get from all of these organizations. And here you can see just a small section of the programs that we do. It really has had a huge impact on the artists that have been involved in this program. Many different opportunities. And actually this year also, we've been collaborating with Impact, and we also have, so here's the Impact slide. So we're thinking about empathy and sustainability like a mountain, and how, what are the metaphors that we can come to around that. And you can join us tomorrow if you are in Italy, and you can also join on Facebook Live if you are not in Italy. We are going to be having some more Impact conversations with these people here. And amazingly, we are actually putting together a book. The book is due out next year. We've had a lot of conversations and work and efforts going into that book. It's very exciting, talking about basically each of the themes over the last 10 years of NAHR has a chapter. And so it's going to be a really interesting book. I hope that you'll tag along and join us as we explore the book next year. And with that, I am going to pass it over to Ilaria.
Thank you for the introduction, Anne. Anne is still actively engaged, as you see, with NAHR as an ambassador, having been first a fellow and now staying on in the organization. And she has been very critical in many of the programming that we have been conducting in this past year. So as I mentioned at the very beginning to some of you, that as we started the program, we are going to have some of the fellows of this year are here in person today. And this is the list of people that will present as the morning goes on. But before introducing and giving the words actually directly for the PechaKucha to Beth, Eva, Marilyn, Sarah, Heloise, Remi, and Dodd, I would like to briefly introduce the absentees. We had a very busy summer with a lot of participation and a lot of fellows, due also to some extra programming. And we started in June with 6 fellows that spent a month, started with a workshop about air. And I see that some of you that logged in was at that workshop. I know Zach is there and others. And following the June program, during the June program, some of the fellows like Lucrezia that couldn't be here today sent some information about their projects, and Lucrezia built these artifacts that dispersed in the environment, and they were containing seeds that with the wind and the air, they flew around the valley, dispersing and symbolically bringing, to focus the importance of seeds for life. We also had a 2 weeks eco-poetics workshop with 12 participants from around the world, and they focused again on the topic of air and how in eco-poetics now ecology is really at the center of their creative endeavors. Nobody is here from that group today, but they had a very prolific summer, and they are presenting a workshop actually next week in New York City if you are there and you like to participate. We then had a group of fellows that were connected to the program that Anne described briefly. Impact is a European grant that connects us to 7 partners. And we had 5 fellows that joined from different countries in Europe. One of them was Kaya, and she is a sound artist and did an installation that allowed the visitor to really embed oneself into this soundscape made of different breath and breathing sounds from people that she recorded while at the residency. While Andrea was our youngest fellow this year, and she is from Cyprus and did an installation collecting stones and masks and lichens, and did a video installation connected to this physical component about the air movement and how the ecosystem of the valley really connects to the idea of life and air itself. Our longest resident has been actually staying 6 months, Kibian. She just left in mid-September. So as you can see in the garden, the leaves are all gone for the ones of you that were there early on. And Kibian started early in August with a lot of walks and excursions in the landscape, for then, in a way, retrieving into her apartment. And her work has been really from the apartment looking out, and the title of her video is "My Lungs Are My Window." And she's in Korea, so she just sent this, but had to go to sleep. So she's sending greetings, but she couldn't be here with us at the moment. We also had a honorary fellow. John came for three weeks, not really as a fellow of NAHR, but almost as a senior advisor, and we called him an honorary fellow, and participated to the seminars and wrote a few texts and poems as an ex-ranger of the Yosemite National Park. It was really connected to the nature of the valley and walking around and really exploring and also engaging with the community in the July month. And to close, I think this group of absentees, but here with us in any case, people that sent their material, was this group of 4 dancers from Northwestern University led by Professor Jeff Hancock, where they came, each of them with a dance practice and a grant to explore certain aspects of their practice, but also during one of the seminars, we had the opportunity to dance, to see them dancing in the villa, and in one of the villas of the village, an Art Nouveau villa. And if the video will work, I'll show you briefly. Sometimes embedded videos don't work, and this is the problem. But we have been publishing some of their work, and was really beautiful. We also danced with them at some point, and really having someone working with their body brings the experience of being in nature to another level. Sorry, the video, as I was fearing, is not really working. But with this, I just provided a quick overview of the breadth of projects and participation. We had more than 25 probably fellows this year, and with very diverse projects. We are still collecting the archive and working in curating a little bit the work for next presentations, etc. But with this, I would like now to let you speak and to hear from your reflections on the experience, as we call this PechaKucha. And we said, Beth, if you're okay to go first, you take it from here and share your screen. Please introduce yourself as you start. So.
Hiya. Oops, sorry. Can everyone see that okay? Is that all good?
Yes.
Cool. So my name is Beth Robertson. I'm a sound artist, and I create sound pieces and sound installations that celebrate the hybrid nature of humans and celebrate the voices of the more than human, and kind of explore the role of listening in environmental activism. So my project was called Nothing But Bark and Bone, a sonic topography of breath as it's intimately passed between the vegetal and the flesh. It was supported by UAL Arts for the Environment residency program. So I was in Valtaleggio for 2 weeks, and the first thing I did basically was I brought 2 cameras with me, a Polaroid and a Diana film camera, and I would go for walks and I'd take photos of the area to kind of like frame my ideas about the space. And on these like walks, kind of thinking about air as well, the theme. And obviously the first thing, it's a really, really beautiful place. And mainly because of the amount of trees. And one of the first things you notice if you're thinking about air when you're walking is how clean the air is. And so I got thinking about like the air as this kind of passing of breath between humans and the vegetal world and the trees, basically. So this kind of like symbiotic relationship. So I wanted to explore that. So I created 3 sound pieces, all using. So all the field recordings I used were made in Valtaleggio, and I think about sound as this like really important medium for kind of exploring these pre-existing categories and binaries that we create, because sound is not separate objects. It's like something that kind of. So a medium that can be used to kind of blur the boundaries. So I was using it to blur the boundaries between the human body and the vegetal body. So I created 3 sound pieces. The first one was lungs and leaves. The second one was skin and bark. The third one was roots. So the root networks in the brain and the roots of trees. So each of them was a kind of either a similar bodily process or a symbiotic bodily process. So I've got a few wee seconds clips of each sound piece, I couldn't share the sound, so hopefully you can hear me, but it might just be playing through my speakers. But we'll see. So that one was lungs, this one is skin.
I'm not sure we hear it.
Not hear it? Oh.
That's the problem often with videos and.
Yeah, that's okay. Cool. So basically I had the three different sound pieces. So I wanted to create these three different kind of listening spaces that I kind of like specifically wanted people to listen to each of the sound pieces in these three different areas. And they were kind of indicated by like dangling Polaroids and QR codes, and people like they were kind of blowing in the wind, so you kind of had to catch the QR codes.
Please speak up so we don't hear you. Just stay
sorry.
close to the mic, sorry.
No, it's okay. So I had these three different listening spaces that were indicated by these Polaroids and QR codes. And everything was available online, still is available online. You can listen to the sounds. But at the time it was all the information about the sounds and everything as you were listening to them was on my website. But since then I've made these booklets that basically talk through a little bit of information about each sound piece and the project, but also QR codes to listen to them, and Pauline Oliveros deep listening exercise and instructions on how to make a seed bomb. Again, kind of just talking about how like listening is a form of activism, and the cleaning of our air is also the cleaning of our breath. So to take care of ourselves is to take care of the vegetal world and learn more about our ecosystem. So that was my project. I'll stop.
Thank you.
Sharing.
Yes, all the sounds is better to listen individually. So you are all welcome to go back to Beth and ask for the QR, but it's also on her website, so we can share it more. Eva, would you like to share your screen and go ahead?
Yeah, hello everybody. I was very pleased to be a fellow of NAHR. I'm a multidisciplinary artist working mainly with photography, kind of concept artwork, and I'm based in Germany, in Karlsruhe and in Paris. And it was for me the third time. I had a residency in the Alps, on the Pre-Alps, but every time it's really different. So I was very pleased to discover this part of Italy. Talking about my experience, I mean, I was very impressed by the landscape and by the organization that we had this symposium in the beginning of the residency with so many different kind of specialists for air, and it really impressed me. My due to my education that I studied art and agriculture gardening, I'm very close to nature. So I didn't have to start with point zero like other fellows maybe. And I was very impressed by air, water, and the greenness. Here are some impressions of my hikes. I did nearly every day a hike and discovered so many nice waterfalls and airs. I applied for NAHR to do a project about the air in Valtelleccio and in Paris due to the different kind of air pollution. And for that reason, the symposium was very helpful too. So I did photos from the valley, kind of cloud studies, which, yeah, actually there was a lot of rain, so we had a lot of clouds. And then I cut it out the landscape and put over the photo a layer of the different kind of air pollution in Paris at the same time, because I could get the data. So that's, for example, in that day, the whole air pollution is yellow, so it's medium. The ozone was very high, and the NO3 and the dust was here. Okay. So I wanted to have the combination between the both situations, you know, having the breeze, fresh breeze in Valtaleggio, and then having the polluted air in Paris. Actually, I figured out through the symposium that the air pollution in the region of Milano is very high. It's one of the highest air pollutions in Europe. And fortunately, Valtaleggio was far away of that. Another part I developed during the 4 weeks was working with soap bubbles, as you can see here on the left. I wanted to kind of visualize my own breath and connect it with the plants. So, I mean, the plants are producing the air, the oxygen for us. And it's very hard to describe air or make it visible. So I started that, and that's the part of the presentation. And that's during the presentation, the open studio, people are doing soap bubbles. And I thought it was, yeah, going back to childhood, a nice way to make air visible. Another part of the research was talking with people from Valtaleggio about the traditions, where the wind is coming, kind of stories about if you see the clouds in this part of the valley, then it's going to be rainy. And due that I did the residency in June, there was a traditional thing called the prediction of for the summer of St. John, and you have to put water in a vase and then egg white, and then you leave it outside the building, and then depending how the stripes are going to be, yeah, you can do a prediction. It's kind of sailing of the sailing boat of Petrus. So it was interesting to go on that. And during the residency, I started mornings with drawing stones from the landscapes, which I took from my hikes. And I think stones, because they're a fractal of the mountains, they're like a mountain too. And I was interested about the air surrounding the mountains, as you can see here. And with another fellow, went up to the mountains and gathered some clay, some natural, and I did this kind of negative form of the stones and burned it. So to make, yeah, it's also about thinking like a mountain and experience the surface about yourself or about things with air. Wow. So altogether, it was quite a very fruitful time. I was very happy to have so much opportunities to discover nature and culture, and the project will continue. And you can see it on my website. Well, thank you.
Thank you, Eva, very much. Marilyn.
Yes, my name is Marilyn Longinati Geary.
Sorry, Marilyn, I interrupt you 1 second. Could you do the full presenter view at the top left, the third symbol, presenter view?
Okay, I see participants.
Not on NAHR, on your slides. You have to stay on your slides. Share again.
Okay,
And then, yeah, perfect. Now it works. Stay
Great.
like that.
great. My name is Marilyn Geary. I am a fiber artist, an oral historian, and a writer. Among other things. My growing up, it was covered with orchards, and it produced 90% of California's fruits and vegetables, and it was known as the Valley of Heart's Delight. But as I grew up, it changed radically. It's now, you probably know the place as Silicon Valley. Of course, I wouldn't be able to be talking to you today if that change hadn't happened, but it's something that left a deep sorrow in my heart. Right now, there's one demonstration orchard left with a few trees, but I could no longer live there. I can't really live in what I consider my homeland. I moved to a place called Marin County, which is across the bay from San Francisco. And because of a number of forward-thinking conservationists, there's 83% of Marin County is open space. So I feel very blessed to live in this area. This is Mount Tamalpais, which is the sacred mountain of the Miwoks, whose ancestral lands are here in Marin County. And for a while, I lived on at the base of Mount Tam and created this piece that is made from foliage that I gathered on Mount Tam to make paper and construct the shape of the mountain. I'm also a writer, as I said, and I wrote a book about immigrants coming to California from the Valle Maggia, which is very, very close as the crow flies to Valtaleggio, although it's in Switzerland. So when I came to Soto Chiesa, I had an idea already of the culture there. And I decided to do a project based on gratitude and nature, in the sense that today with climate change, there's so much stress and anxiety because we aren't really able to predict the flooding, the fires, the droughts, and it has been proven that being in a beautiful place in nature will help reduce anxiety and promote well-being, along with expressing gratitude. So I interviewed a number of people in the Valtaleggio, from longtime residents to vacationers, an immigrant, a historian, and asked them what they appreciated in nature in the Valtaleggio. And of course, the one thing that tied them all together was the beauty. I went out into the trails and identified plants using an app called Seek, which is related to iNaturalist, and collected leaves that I dried in between layers of newspaper, and then laid them out on fabric that I had mordanted to enable the pigments of the leaves to retain within the fibers. I then steamed the fabric in bundles and opened them up and saw the beautiful prints that the leaves gave us. And then I sewed the quotes from the interviews that I had done with people about what they appreciated onto these banners and had them hanging in the wind so that people could see the beauty of the nature in the valley and the leaves, the beautiful prints that they made. And I have to say, I'm very, very grateful to NAHR and Ilaria for this wonderful experience. I will always carry it with me, and I'm very, very grateful for it. So thank you.
Thank you, Marilyn, for sharing the wind with us of the valley and your work. Sarah, Are you good to go?
Yeah, thank you. Okay, you can all see and hear me?
Yes, it's good.
Okay, thank you. So this is just a brief introduction. I'm an artist and art therapist living and working in Brooklyn, also teaching. And because I am also a mental health worker, the concept of empathy, how we can develop or focus or experience empathy with between ourselves and with other beings is a very important concept to me. Let's see, I started thinking of air as a living thing, which I know is a common concept across the many cultures and is maybe only a different concept in some Western cultures. And I've always appreciated the idea that, you know, rivers might be given rights, that the ocean would be given rights, but I do think if we had a different scientific definition of what is living, a more multidimensional definition, that it might be easier to advocate for the rights of the air and the water and the land. And so this was just, I can read this if the print is small for anyone, but as we know more and more about the interactive spaces between roots in the soil or the exchange of molecules from the air through the membranes of every being, or the constant mix of voices, smells, chemicals that reach across distance, is connection not a requirement of being a living thing? Listening is having your body become a receiver of vibration, electromagnetic pulse, particles, radiation, sense molecules, all these things carried to us through the elements. Air is a constantly sensitive and receptive dynamic action and a connective tissue between all things. Without the molecular reactions in air, our voices would not reach across the distance. We would not feel heat. We would not metabolize energy. The trees would not recognize the presence of others nearby. Air forms the shape of our ears and vocal cords, such a collective force that provides such sensitivity and such power. Can we not consider this to be life itself in motion? And so I also considered, you know, this idea of like a constant motion and the fact that like the land, the water, the air all move in the same way, have the same type of impact and flow as each other. And that's a connection between all of them. They just move at greatly different paces. You know, the stones underneath the mountain are flowing like a river, just incredibly slowly. And so I had this image of sort of the radiating designs of a tree being thicker and heavier and floating and dispersing. I did a lot of drawing while I was at NAHR, mostly because pencils were a lot easier to get through airport security, but also because I felt like that the motion of drawing is very instinctive and very spontaneous. I felt that really helped me to directly find more forms that were, you know, responsive to what I was noticing while I was out walking in the valley. Now that I'm back in New York, I'm translating some of those into painted images. I have time to sit and look. So this is a continued translation of that idea of all of the form of the tree being both still and moving. And I have to say, I was so lucky to be there with artists of so many different medium. I've been so inspired by sound art since I was there. I've been listening to Pauline Oliveira and like, I'm making some instruments myself. I still keep coming back to the idea of a still image as being able to hold like many layers of time at once. I also did a simple ritual that I hope can be repeated by anybody who would like to. So in this ritual, we memorize the tempos of a heart rate. I guess the presenter or sharer of the ritual memorizes the tempo of a heart rate of many animals. Humans might be included in that. And then to practice like learning the beat, however fast it is or however slow, so that it can be shared in person. You would then gather people in a circle and ask each person to hold out their hand or to ask to, so that they can receive the heartbeat from you, or they might ask that, you know, you can clap it or offer it in some other way if they don't, if they would prefer. And then once everybody has been given a heartbeat, they can either pass it on to somebody else or begin singing the heartbeats, which creates like a spontaneous composition, which I've really enjoyed. And I guess however people want to stand or gather is up to them. But I also saw this as a way for us to find a way to empathize with the body, with the pace of living, with the a moment of calm across species. And also the fact, I also try to remember that most other animals might actually be able to hear our heartbeats. So for them, it is transmitted through the air, but for us, it's not. So this is a way for us to transmit maybe some of the things that other animals are always noticing, like a very fast heart rate or a very slow heart rate. And what does that mean, or how does that change their experience? So thank you very much, everyone. So good to see familiar faces.
Thank you, Sarah, for sharing your work. It was a fun exercise. Also, the heartbeat, we all enjoyed it. I saw that Heloise has logged in. Heloise, are you there? I don't see on videos. Yeah, hello. Would you like to share your screen and go ahead, or you want me to share your work and you just speak? We don't hear you because you're muted.
Sorry, yeah. If you wouldn't mind doing it, then I can talk. I'm just not sure how to share my screen here.
Yes, a second, because I had opened most of them, but not yours yet. So it will take a second for my computer.
Nice to see some familiar faces again.
Oops, I made a mistake. Do you guys see my screen? You do, right?
The full page.
Yes.
Okay, now.
Okay, thank you. Heloise,
Okay.
go ahead and you just say next, and I go to the next one.
Okay, so this is me in Valteleggio. I brought some instruments, ceramic flutes that I'd made, especially for the residency, that were inspired by these Guatemalan flutes that I'd come across on the internet in a presentation of South American instruments. And I was interested in creating something that could be played through breath. And I brought them in all different kinds of shapes and sizes, wanting to kind of use them as a way of exploring group improvisation and having fun. So yeah, I'm an artist, sound composer based between London and Cornwall. I'm interested in the natural world and ways of kind of working together through music. So yeah, these are a selection of the flutes. I was lucky to have some willing improvisers among some of the fellows. We had some sessions. The first session was in the kind of village square, and we kind of were midway through exploring some sounds, and then this thunderstorm struck and we had to duck into the residency room, the studio where we carried on, but that kind of got me thinking about an extra layer, which is not only the breath but also the kind of atmosphere in the valley, and the kind of things that contribute to the building up of energy and the special climate that induces these kind of quite extreme weather events in the valley. so yeah, I took also, as in addition to exploring group improvisations, I also took the pipes around me on walks and did some improvising in the woods and near the cows, and yeah, dotted around different places. Yeah, maybe the next one. Oh yeah, so this also brought the flutes to this folk festival that we all went to, where there was a brass band playing from I think it was a military kind of gathering, and there were all these amazing musicians playing and singing, and at a kind of, yeah, they were having a break, and then we tried some of the flutes out with them, which was fun. Spearheaded by Ilaria. So yeah, these are some of the other influences that kind of went into the creation of, I think I wrote about 5 tracks as the kind of the sharing that what I was working on there, and influenced, yeah, so by the thunderstorm. I took some sound recordings of the thunderstorm and created some music around that. I also had brought along my bat detector, which was a microphone which basically recorded and translated the ultrasonic sound waves from the bats that were kind of flying around just up the road from the place we were staying at night, and translated them into audible frequencies. And I based a track around that. Ilaria's niece, I had a jam with them, and then the cows as well. So yeah, in the next slide, there are just a few little samples of some of the music.
I don't think I can play it. Was it trying to play? I'm not sure.
Oh, if you click it, maybe.
It didn't, it went somewhere else. That's the
Oh.
problem of sound. We had the same with Beth.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
Well, I can put them somewhere.
Yeah.
But
we'll share it on the website under your name. So later.
Okay. Great. Yeah. So I was kind of thinking about weather and thinking about these weather directions, and was kind of intrigued by the fact that each of the directions had different characters. And so, yeah, kind of assigned each of the tracks to a different weather direction. Because, yeah, like maestrale is northwesterly wind, sustained wind, common in winter and spring. It's like accompanied by clear, fresh weather. And so each, I was kind of composing to some of these characters. Yeah, and that was my sharing for some of the local residents. Yeah, it was a really great experience.
Thank you, Heloise. Yes, with sound is always a little bit more challenging to make it work, but we'll find ways to share it.
And it's the baby due.
Oh, any minute. Well, yeah, it was yesterday.
Thank you for being with us. Thank you for being with us.
So yeah, we want to know it when you
of course
re-emerge from your intense days. Please let us know.
I'll let you know.
The webinar. Remi, would you like to go?
Yeah, let me share the screen. Let's see if it's going to work. Yeah.
Slideshow a little bit down, right? Yeah, up there.
Yeah, I'm just trying to position your beautiful faces in some place. Okay. Okay, I can start. Okay, good morning, good evening. I don't know. I'm Remi. I'm a multidisciplinary.
Remi, sorry, just speak up a little bit, please. Just your tone. You don't need to change anything, just your tone.
Yeah, I can stay closer because my computer is pretty far. Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, just speak up.
Okay, my name is Remi. I'm a multidisciplinary scientific researcher and also an artist. As a researcher, my work focused on cell and molecular biology, nanotechnology, computer science, and more recently on artificial intelligence. As an artist, over time, I worked into various media, including paintings and 3D installation. And now my work is more focused on the digital art, video, sound installation, using computer programming and artificial intelligence. I stayed at NAHR for 2 weeks. Was a wonderful time there, and I really enjoyed. I really enjoyed nature, of course, because that is really beautiful. But I also enjoyed the community, actually. During my time there, my primary focus was on leveraging art and technology to challenge human centrism. And from this came the definition. I made up a word there, which is like a human peripherism. It's like periphery, is like contraposition to human centrism. And the objective during my work was to try to shift our focus away from our own identity, and in turn, broaden our understanding of the environment. This was the focus, in a few words. More specifically, my project in NAHR was focused on trying to, I don't know if it's the right word, but try to dehumanize the Paris Agreement for climate change. And this was my, the connection with the air. To do this, I used two main tools, which is one is generative AI, machine generation, basically, mainly generating text and sound, and then the use of randomness. And the process was in 3 steps. First, I used AI to create an alternative, no human-centric Paris Agreement. Basically, I asked the machine to rewrite the Paris Agreement with no human centrism there. This was an experiment, of course, and then from that I generated the text, the text of the new agreement. Also the synthetic voices reading in different languages the agreement. And this was, for me, were the main two tools, the main two media I used for my video installation, basically. Then in a second step, I used the randomness to further reduce the human centrism, because randomness by definition try to remove the human predictability, the logic, and the bias from the humans. And finally, to add the site-specific context, more specific to the place, I also recorded and randomized, voices and sounds from Sottocchiesa environment from people, including the fellow artists. And you are gonna hear in the video, but I think part of you already heard saw the installation and heard your voices there. With the machine, with this, with the machine, with the new Paris Agreement, the text and the sound, basically, I created three main type of words. I'm going to show I don't know if it's going to work the video. I will try to show one video, and then I'm going to show some pictures of the other work. Basically, one work was a video installation indoor that was shown during the residency, and in the map here, in the picture, in the satellite picture of the area, I show where this work was originated, where it was played, basically. And then the other work is a video projections in nature using the generated text from the AI of the Paris Agreement. And there is a third work, if you are curious, there is already here a link to my website, or I can send you the link of the website. Let's try to play the video. I don't know if it's gonna work. Put up your volume. I'm gonna put up my volume too, I just tried before the presentation, it worked. Let's see. It's gonna go directly in the middle of the video because I want to show just one minute of it.
Il progresso verso gli obiettivi. Moreover, the article recognizes the adattamento nei paesi in via paesi in via dell'accordo di Parigi la rotta seconda C e la capacità di adattamento dei paesi, ma limitare l'aumento. Limitare l'aumento. Moreover, the article recognizes the danni associati for industrial levels while pursuing associated with climate change impact. The temperature è molto al di sotto dei 2 gradi Celsius. L'articolo sostenere le azioni di mitigazione associate all'aumento degli sforzi per ridurre le
Okay, did you hear that? Okay.
Yes, we could, not perfect, but we got a sense. It's a bit difficult.
Yeah, you can go on the website and listen to that. And also here, I think the Google slide does some compression. is really bad. It's really bad. But this was basically the work on about the video projections. Where we use the words. I used the words from the generated Paris Agreement and with Ilaria and friends. We went around Sottocchiesa and actually this was a moment where we tested the installation, and on the left you see another location. We did this in different locations. It was very nice. It's very nice to do this work. And basically this is another location. This was one of my first tests. This is right outside the studio, the NAHR studio. And basically that's it. I want just to say big thank you to everybody. I super enjoyed my residency, and big thank you to the community. I met so many people there, and new friends, my fellow artists, and love you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Remi, very much. Yes, the videos and sound is a little bit difficult to share via Zoom, but we will try to project the work over time also on other social media and our website, linking to if you are working on your website and share it with others, with us, we'll link your name, and so people can over time appreciate that. Do, would you like to go? We have 2 more presentations, and Do is next. Hi.
Hello. Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Let me see.
Please.
Let me know if you see it.
Not yet. It's coming. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so I'll start. Hello, everyone. My name is Do. I'm here presenting not as a fellow, but as NAHR intern this year. I was an intern at NAHR from March to June 2023, and since then I've become an ambassador. So very grateful for that. Before I start giving my side of the experience I've had at NAHR, I would like to briefly introduce myself. I was born in Ireland and raised in Spain, and I have recently graduated from Fine Arts, and I'm currently now doing a master's in art mediation and education in Valencia, Spain. I'm professionally interested in the realm in the field of cultural management, specifically the links between art, societal, and natural sustainability. So when I was at the end of my degree and before I finished my thesis, I decided to look for internship opportunities, hopefully finding something that was specifically on those topics that I was interested in. And that's how I found NAHR. And I very quickly decided to get in contact with them. I had a conversation with Ilaria, and in a matter of a few days, I was already in the organization. And that's how I started here. All right, so Ilaria and let me see if I can move the screen next. Okay, Ilaria and Anne have already defined what NAHR is, but what other ways of defining NAHR can I give from the experience I've had? I think from more than anything, NAHR is a place that provides the opportunity for expansion and concentration, just like breathing in a way. It is a place where, well, NAHR is definitely, one second. NAHR, the full name is Nature, Art and Habitat Residency, an eco-laboratory of multidisciplinary practice. It's a very long name, and it involves many things. Nature is a very big topic. How do you inhabit places is a very big topic. But then inside of all of that, it provides a frame, a time and a space, and it's very specific context of Valtaleggio. And on top of that, every year has a different topic. Now, this year was air. So all of a sudden you have something you can relate to, something you can think about, and from that expand, yet again. As this year we were partnered with Impact, we were also provided with a methodology, which was the method of empathy. As a result, I think NAHR's programming this year in 2023 has been absolutely accelerating. Applying the empathy as a method with the topic of air in the rich cultural and natural context of Valtaleggio, I think has opened up so many new ways of thinking for the fellows, and also at the same time allowed for very concrete ideas to be developed. And I think NAHR has a very unique way of making that happen, and I was so happy to be part of that for since March. I've been part of this. Apart from that, I think NAHR is defined by the idea of collaboration. Not only it's about collaboration between fellows, because the fellows have an idea that they applied for the residency with, and in the first idea is that they're going to do that project alone, but then they find themselves in a space where maybe 5-6 people usually are working with the same concepts. Maybe they come from different worlds. One is an artist, another one is the researcher. They come from agriculture, they come from biology, and they find each other in the same space, and wanting or not, they influence each other. They also have the committee of scientists who usually open up the residency given a workshop. So you always have them to provide further information about the topic of the year, this year being, again, air. And also in the end, Soto Chiesa, do you see here in this photo? Also, you can see a photo of the building of NAHR, where NAHR is located. Is a very remote area. So even though if you had a concrete idea that you wanted to develop there, then you find yourself in the mountains and you think, yeah, I'm gonna buy my chair from Amazon and it's gonna arrive here the next day. Well, that's impossible. So you're kind of forced to collaborate with your environment, with the nature of your place, and adapt your individual project to the conditions of the place, to the materials of the place. And that's something I found very interesting to see also, of how the fellows changed and developed their project through this constant collaboration with the committee, the other companions, and the environment. One of my work mainly was, as an intern, was mainly directed to the dissemination of the project, of the programming, more specifically the one related to impact. We had so many activities this year, and I was happy to see them from before we published them to how they were developed when the artists were at Valtaleggio, and then after, when the projects were finished, we'll see the final results, and also meeting some of the previous fellows, how the works that they had developed at NAHR in previous years have become something larger outside of the valley. Here are some photos of some of the projects I had the pleasure of overseeing. Some of the people who attended, who seemed very happy to get the chance to share their ideas and their excitement. We had a photo of one of the previous fellows that shared her work and how she's taken it now to Seoul, to Korea. Again, Lucrecia, whom, when Ilaria showed her work before, she usually works with clay. She's a sculptor, but she couldn't buy the clay to do her work. So she ended up using the clay that she found in the area, and it worked perfectly fine. One of the collaborations we're going to see tomorrow, we're going to see the final project. This is in the last photo to the right. If you are in Bergamo, you can attend to the final presentation of this project. It's a collaboration within different professionals and artists. And then also I couldn't, in this context of creativity and nature as inspiration, well, I couldn't hold myself from being also inspired. And I was at the time also working on my thesis, and I didn't plan to make any work at Valtaleggio, but in the end, I was looking at the grasses, at the grasses and how the wind was moving them and how they intertwined. So I decided to do an extra experiment for my thesis at Valtaleggio, and is this detail at the right on top beside the cows is my leg. I tried to imprint with melanin the movement of the grasses with the wind, also because I wanted to blend in with the environment, thinking that if I breathe and the air that was inside becomes a part of myself and it's within me, and then I exhale that air, well, what's the true limit between my body and the environment? So that was something I did there, and it was a nice experiment to do. With this, I would like to thank you all for listening to my presentation. I would also like to encourage you to follow our social media, because we all have so many things going on, and In no time, we'll be proposing next year's programming on the next year's topic. Also, you have the last link is if you happen to be a European university student and you would like to apply for an internship at NAHR, you can use this last link to get an extra economic help to do internships abroad. So that's helpful. I used that in my internship in NAHR. And I would like to leave you with this beautiful photo of the outstanding landscapes at Valtaleggio with people during the workshop of June. So thank you very much and hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you, Do, very much. Also for all your work throughout your months with us. You have explained the role of the ambassador very well just by your presentation. And we have one more person to present, Dodd. He's our current resident in California. Dodd, take it from here. I let you share it. No, you want me to share your screen?
Yeah, you're going to share. It's okay.
Yes, let me open it. Just
Sure.
because Dodd is at the residency, and as tradition, connections in our residencies are not always the best, but we do it in a way to keep you engaged with your own work and not with social media as much.
That's great. Good. Well, first of all, to make sure everybody hears me okay, because the service has been pretty spotty. Good. Okay, excellent. Excellent. So I am halfway through my residency at the moment. First of all, I would like to thank NAHR for selecting me for this project. It's a wonderful project. The concept behind air resonates with me. I am an environmental based artist producing artwork internationally for over the last 20 years. My work is all based on environmental themes, endangered species, climate change, charts, graphs, scientific data. It's a lot of the inspirational parts that I use in crafting my work. As I said, I'm halfway through the residency here at the moment, so not much work to share with you yet, but what I would like to share with you guys is all of the things that I have experienced so far. Again, I would like to add, it's a pleasure to be mixed in with all these great artists. So I'm very happy to be involved and surrounded by you guys as professional artists. It's been inspiring to listen to all of your presentations. So here I'm in Santa Ynez. This is a shot I took the other morning, about 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning. And the interesting thing to me about air is there's so many different places or things that it encompasses or what it comes into contact with. My project that I'm producing is called Atmospheric, the color of air. So I'm applying color to air in a lot of the different ways that I have been experiencing it. The mist moving through that oak tree. So here's this majestic oak that's been there for quite a long time, and all the information that it has with the air or the mist moving through it. So I can imagine this information being spread through the environment by it passing through this tree. Again, the color of air, what I'm looking for is to discover difference of the air and how it can react to color. I've been fortunate to be here for a while and experience some temperature changes, some pretty extreme heat that now it has cooled off. I found it interesting to be out in nature and to be really uncomfortably hot, and then to have a cool breeze move across your body while you're very uncomfortably hot. It's an interesting feeling to be impacted by heat and then cooled at the same time, and having this duality of uncomfortable heat with this cooling sensation of the air. Again, the colors that are here in this valley are so unique and so interesting, mixed with the impact of the ecology of this area and the history of this area with the Chumash Indian tribe and the sacred parts of the land, the majestic qualities of the oak trees, which are all protected, endangered species that are here that I'm incorporating into my works as well. Can you move to the next slide? So again, you see these ribbons of color, this intense ribboning, and when you see my work, I work linear. So this is a good example to kind of see how I visualize space and utilize color. I'm a Southern California-based artist, so kind of in my DNA as an artist is really intense color use. And you'll see that in my work, which I'm now posting on Instagram. So I invite you to start to follow. I've just posted the first 2 completed works yesterday, and I'll start posting more of them today, and then throughout the several days to come of works that I'm finishing up. But I really love this is the lake that was actually formed by a dam in the area, but that color balance is so interesting to see the sky pushed into the water and vice versa, possibly the water pushed up into the sky, and these ribbons of color, and how the air affects that gradation of blue is pretty fantastic. Can you move to the next slide? So this is a kind of a foundation of how I work. I use color bands to start to build my process. I'm a traditional artist, BFAs in drawing, painting, sculpture, and architecture and ceramic minors. So very active in contemporary art production. And you can kind of see I emboss work and then start to build color layers. And it's just a heavy layering process as I build the work, all reflective of all these things that I'm experiencing. A couple more things that I would like to share is outside my door, and it's happening right now, are the scrub jays. Have you ever seen birds when they dust themselves about midday? It's something that they do to keep their feathers healthy, but they're right outside my door. There's scrub jays and different birds dusting themselves, and the dust is swirling off of the mess that they're making. A couple of days ago, there was a big fire up on the hill, which was interesting to watch that smoke plume move up into the blue sky. And then in the middle of the night, the smell of the burnt nature was pushed down onto the ground, which normally happens when fog happens. So about in the middle of the night, you could really smell the effects of that fire, brought here by the air, which was an interesting moment. Also the thermals, when it's really hot, I don't know if you guys know, in the afternoon, the thermals happen. That's when the heat resonates from the ground and creates an uplifting heat vacuum. And so that would happen, and the wind would start to blow around 2:30 or 3 o'clock during the really hot moments. And you can really feel the heat as that pushes the air back up. And then you can, if you go out and look, you'll see the birds, usually off ridge lines, they'll glide on the thermals. They don't have to exert themselves so much. They'll just ride on the heat that's being pushed back up. So those are some of the ideas that I'm chasing in 2D format artwork. And like I said, please look at my Instagram so that you can see these works as they finish. I'll be finishing about 3 or 4 more today, and I'll get them posted here pretty soon.
Thank you, Dodd.
Thank you.
I'm gonna stop sharing. Thank you everyone for presenting. And as mentioned earlier, also we had many other fellows this summer with a very rich program, but because we are global, some of them are sleeping. And so we appreciated all the ones that could be here and present today, and starting seeing some of the work also. I probably was the closest to seeing everything, but we are a big community, and this allows us to understand your thinking and your processes, and also different locations. Dodd has even announced almost the subject of the element of nature we will study next year. So it's nice to see the community together, even if it's virtual. So we have a 10-15 minutes for wrapping up. If anyone wants to have, a comment or a question for each other. And I know that Anne, you would like to say something, so please start, Anne, and then we'll open up for anyone else that also let's say in the public that has been quietly listening and watching. If anyone has any thought or comment, please make yourself part of the conversation and go.
Sure. So I just wanted to thank you, Do, for showing a little bit about the ambassador work that we're doing. But I wanted to invite any of the fellows, of the artists, if you are interested in staying connected with NAHR, there's really great opportunities to be an ambassador with this organization. So, and if you are interested, feel free to reach out to myself or Do or Ilaria, and we can give you some direction and insight on how that looks and what you can do.
Even among the listener, of course, the fellows, we would love you to stay engaged as you are now, but also for other people that are part of it. We really like to keep the community engaged. Yeah, anyone wants to? Thank you, Anne, very much.
Maybe I can just say a couple words to thank you all. I hope my voice is coming through. My headphones stopped working. I'm one of the ambassadors as well, and I've been actively working with NAHR for some time now. But I'm in Istanbul, Turkey, so I'm always in the active in the preparations for each year's theme and residency programs. But I hardly get a chance to actually be there and watch things coming about and in their development. So thank you very much for joining in today. And it was very refreshing for me to see actually that these proposals have actually, how they have realized and how everything went. It was very, refreshing for me to see and hear them. And I just wanted to say maybe to kick off a discussion. We've been, covering many of the elements for some time now at NAHR, and two of them were rock and the soil. And interestingly, we've been calling both as holders of knowledge across time. And it was interesting for me to hear Dodd to speak about air as a messenger of knowledge. I did not think of it in that sense so far. So it was a new addition to my thinking about air. And many of you have studied air as it manifests itself in our voices, sounds, and music. And that, to me, kind of connects to air as the messenger of knowledge, messenger of feelings, messenger of perhaps other things as well. So just wanted to thank you, and it was very enjoyable for me.
Thank you, Aslı. Anyone wants to? Any further thought, or also people that already spoke, if you have any, having seen each other's work?
I have a question for Heloise. Can you talk about how you make those flutes?
Sure. I was using earthenware clay, and I kind of rolled balls, and then cut them in half, hollowed them out, and then rejoined them, and then let them kind of dry for a little bit. And then I got around to kind of cutting holes and combining them. So I had I had a 1 ball, I had 2, I had 3, I had 4. And yeah, it was like a real experiment for me, kind of seeing what kind of tones would come out. And I experimented also with putting holes onto the in different places around the balls to be able to change the tone there. Yeah, I experimented a lot with different forms like ocarinas, but this, I don't know, it felt like the most exciting and versatile kind of way to explore.
I wanted to say too, they were such a unique experience to play, that like each person had like one flute that was like the one that fit them the best. It seemed like even though we tried them all differently, everybody was like, oh wait, no, that's mine, like that's mine. I need the one with the 3, I need the, and you had to like adjust your body to each one differently, and I thought that was really interesting.
Yeah, it was a good way to become a community. People say NAHR is a community, and for me personally, and it can be up for, again, a conversation with you that are there, is definitely a community, a temporary maybe, and it shifts, is evolving, is not a stuck community. You're not stuck with people. It's more fluid, but definitely these moments, you know, the sharing the instruments, the heartbeat, etc. These maybe 5 minutes moments are really enhancing that feeling of being part of something, or exploring also, not being able to make any sound out of them was very frustrating at first.
Yeah, they weren't easy to play, actually. Get down to it.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Also, I really enjoyed to see the projects of the others and how different directions everybody went. And yeah, it's quite impressive how many residencies you're doing for summer. And yeah, what a pride.
Yeah, it's a good point, Eva, also in the fact that we spent some time writing the call, and you may have been applying to several residency and find that ours is a long text. You know, it's more than just a call, and every year we think about it.
Yeah.
But yet the projects that evolve from it are even more diverse. You know, obviously air means a lot and means many other things, but it's really expansive. What it comes back as a response to our call as proposals, and how different artists really are taking the subjects to many places. And it's really incredible to see all your work, from, you know, the pencil to the AI. We are covering a lot of places back and forth. With no one direction, really. It's multi. And the language, I'm looking at Marilyn because she speaks Italian and really engage with the community and learn personalities. And she wanted to do some short interviews that turned into an afternoon chat with some people. So yeah, also the engagement with some of the locals is at times. I don't know, Marilyn, if you have any thought or.
Yeah, I saw Angelo on the pictures of some presentation.
Yeah, I was very grateful to be able to talk with people and understand where they were coming from. When I did try to talk to the immigrants, I found my high school French was no longer with me, so I couldn't really do that, but my Italian served me pretty well, and I was really happy to be able to meet and integrate myself. I really felt comforted by the people there who welcomed me. It was a wonderful experience.
Thank you. And in a different way, Dodd is experiencing something alien to what we are talking about, maybe because Santa Ynez, that also Anne went to, is almost a retreat, is a solo residency. So it offers a quite different experience, even if the subject is the same and are both valleys, but quite different in anything else possible. And yet I want to mention that we are wrapping up, but I want to mention that on the 28th, next Saturday morning, we are doing or Dodd is actually sharing his work and closing his residency. We'll do some little live on Facebook if you want to take a pic. But if you are in the area in LA and like to join us, let us know and we'll provide you with the details. Anyone that has any last comment, etc., or I'm gonna close with a couple of slides and let you guys go on with your day, evening. We see Zach. He opened the residency with a workshop. He's an airplane pilot. And so I don't know, anyone has any final comment or thought to share? Otherwise, I'm going to share my screen. Hi, Joshua. We see many long time friends. So I guess I want to take these 2 minutes left to really open up the next year call, which is, sorry, it's going back and forth. Do you see the screen that says fire? That fire will be the next year topic, multifaceted, in a multifaceted manner as we have done it so far for air. We are looking at fire as renewal, very much so. Fire brings back life if we think of forests. Fire, therefore, is really the subject of resilience. It's also very much connected to rituals, to our cultural aspects, and to power. Its own fire has its own power, and also power that we associate metaphorically with the word, and many other things and ways. So we are going to start the call much earlier this year, probably within a week. And you're all welcome to consider returning to NAHR, to share with others, and to, suggest also readings about it. Still, please continue to be part of the conversation. Why we do it as NAHR ambassadors, or the people that are part of NAHR, is because we are learning from each other. And also tomorrow, which is the closing of the Impact Actions for NAHR with 4 artists and philosophers and architects in conversation with Gabi, is really this sharing of what we are learning, and changing the elements keeps us also learning more. We are not experts on fire or air, but we are bringing in people and continuing the conversation with this intention of being, participating into making something, and especially making a better place for all of us, for the ecosystems that we are part of, and trying really to do a little bit even better for this environment, right? Because it's kind of necessary. So with these few words, I personally, but also as a spokesperson of NAHR, would like to thank you all for this summer and this fall, and for being part of the community, long-term, short-term, and to continue stay connected. And thank you very much. Thank you, Anne, Richard, Do, Asle, for also being part of the making of all this. It's a lot of work for all of them. And so thank you for doing that. And with this, I think Richard will make us disappear. But you're welcome to.
Yes, thank you, everybody. It was great seeing everybody.
Thank you. Thank you,
Bye.
everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you all. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.